While everyone is trying to fit into the big cities, some experts are pushing for another approach. It's a form of urbanization which does not require rural-urban migration, but encourages settlement in the suburbs.
Urbanization has two elements to it. One is the movement of rural dwellers to urban centers. The other one is actually the urbanization of a rural community. In other words, if there was a village and you made that village a state capital or a local government headquarters, and certain facilities are now developed in that particular community, that because of those facilities, that particular location can now become an urban center. So you either have movement of people or movement of facilities to the rural area. So it's a two-way street. Well, urbanization is not synonymous with affluence. So even in Rio de Janeiro, Caracas, Jakarta, New York City, there are slums in the urban areas. So they're urban slums, while in rural areas, there are rural affluence. So if you go to the traditional ruler's palace, right, in the village, he lives in affluence. He has satellite dish, he has air conditioning, he has generator, he has water, he has everything. Some of them even have helipads, right, in the rural area. So one of the common misconceptions is that urbanization is the same thing as affluence and good living. But that is not correct.
The government has also promised to make this attractive.
We're about to start a massive construction of rural roads to open those up. Once those steps are put in place, I think it will stem the tide. I also believe that if most of the people put their money where their mouth is, a lot of people come in here, take land for agricultural development, and then it takes them forever to start it. I don't want to mention names, but I also know a couple of such applicants that are committed to the ideal. They've already started work. I know one of them has like 2,000 hectares in a place called Imala. Imagine what that would do to that neighborhood, to that locality, to the people there. Because whether you like it or not, 2,000 hectares spans, that's massive land area. The people there will be engaged in one form or the other, be it as security people. The farmers will also be involved in whatever the community is doing. I mean, there'll be community relations issues. Whether you like it or not, it would open up that whole community to further development.
This promise, however, has not stopped the search for greener pastures in perceived big cities.
Everybody wants to be civilized in one form or the other. Nigeria has not gotten to a stage whereby we have the infrastructure that will help or assist those in rural areas. In advanced countries, apart from the main city, suburbs, they have the big malls, they have internet cafes, they have virtually everything you have in the cities. So because the infrastructure are not there, people tend to flock and flood towards civilization. So in Nigeria, if things can be put to place in little towns, small communities, if there are infrastructures, they have a stadium, they have a gym, they have stores, they have access to internet, and then basically everybody will stay where they are.
In addition to provision of infrastructure, attracting commercial activities is another way to accelerate development of the rural areas.
First and foremost, government can encourage companies that have their factories in the urban centers by encouraging them that if they could have these companies in the rural areas, they will have some tax benefits, either tax waivers or reduction. So what they are losing on one side, naturally they gain on the other side. That will encourage rural dwellers. That's one. Government should concentrate more on providing amenities such as health amenities. Most of the time people come to cities to enjoy some facilities, health, then provision of water and road.
We're for 3 regions in Nigeria. We went to 4 states. We went to 12 states. We went to 19 states, and we went to 36 states. And then we now have 774 local governments, right, in the country. So I believe, and I would suggest respectfully, that each of these local government headquarters is more or less an urban area. So rather than having 12 cities in Nigeria, we now have 774 cities in a country like that. So if you divide 774 by 12, you will see that we have actually grown by over 1,000% in terms of urbanization. If urbanization is the key, then we have done that. But how do we make these urban areas to have a higher, almost equal or higher income per capita, standard of living and all that? And how do we make them clusters of production so you begin to produce in these areas and the entire country, from in aggregate terms, we see that Nigeria is better off whether we are urbanizing or, if we are becoming more rural.
Mr. Ruwani maintains that the suburbs offer a better life.
Let us understand something. The urbanization of a society is not necessarily a good thing, right? If your characterization of urbanization is facilities, even in the villages across the world, right, in the rural areas across the world, they have all the facilities now, with internet facilities, with solar energy, with train, railway, and all of that. So you can be, the definition of a rural area is that you still maintain your traditional values. You have a lot of space. The space between one house and the other is, right? You can open your windows. You don't need burglar proof. You don't need air conditioning because everything, and you have a farm behind your house and you can grow. But if you have internet access, if you have mobile telephones, if you can use your computer, if you can have electricity and you can watch satellite TV, you don't need to be in the city and to suffer all that congestion. You can do everything. And now with remote working, that is, you can work from home. So people can live in the rural area, catch a train to work as they do in Europe, and come back to what you call the rural area and live a normal life, eat fresh fish from the river, eat tomatoes from the farm, eat cabbage from the, and get till the yam from the soil. You're probably going to live longer because artificial preservatives that are put in food are one of the main reasons for most of the cancer ailments that most Europeans and even a few Nigerians are beginning to suffer from now, right now. The urban living, right, sedentary life, you in a car, you go and then come back. Cardiovascular disease is more prevalent in urban areas than in rural areas, because in rural areas you walk across to go and see your neighbor. You walk to go and see, so you live a more, you have more exercise and less sedentary life than being in the car, being in the tube, getting to your work, coming back and sleeping, watching TV. And so we don't have, we are virtually, we are dying by installments.
So urbanization has different faces. One type is in the big cities and another in the suburbs. What is most important is that there's a respectable standard of living, irrespective of the part of the country. And that, according to experts, should be the pursuit of the government. Well, that's our story. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ini John Mekwa.